So we have a pseudo-sequel to Amending Fences. And while not as good as Amending Fences, still quite fun.
It's the final countdown point of no return. What that was the best I had. It's been a long day. Shut up. How's it going, people? It's your boys, the UB, back in to talk about ponies, you see. And today, this episode, how would I describe this episode? It's kind of like a pseudo-sequel to Amending Fences, if you think about it. I'm kidding. He just said that. That was the joke. Haha. I'm going to be even worse than usual today because work kicked my ass. But I've got TV tropes. I just had dinner, although there was onions in my salad. That pissed me off. But, yeah. You know, I was telling John, this episode got connected to Amending Fences by a lot of fans. I didn't understand. And I told John, I said, after I watched the episode, my opinion was, oh, so you mean this happened the next day after Amending Fences? Because that's what it felt like. But no. Moon Dancer was barely in it. That bummed me. My antisocial waifu. But whatever. It was a Spike and Twilight episode. Apparently, this was originally supposed to be episode 200, but it got shuffled around. So that's kind of neat. Overall, I liked it. And we'll get more into it. But overall, just to open up the dialogue, I mostly liked it. What do you think?
Yeah, it's definitely a fun episode. And like I said, you know, it's not as good as Amending Fences. But in all reality, it's still a really fun episode. Especially the fact that Snarky Spike is back.
Yeah, I was going to say, Spike was like the MVP in this episode. He was literally exactly what I always, in my head, is picture-perfect Spike. It's sarcastic, but sensible. That's Spike to me. When they try to do to him what they do sometimes, like they did in, you know, like they did in Spike at Your Service and the one with the comic book. That's when I'm like, dude, don't make Spike dorky. It's like he's cool, and he was cool in this episode. Twilight was good in this episode too. You know, there were periods of time when I was watching this episode, and I was thinking to myself, man, I can't believe I used to have serious problems with her character 4 seasons ago. Because you know what? After season 4, she's been pretty consistent.
Yeah, she's been really good.
I feel like she learned a lesson in this that she's learned before, but it was done different, but well, sort of. We'll get into it.
You know, you were just talking about how her character's been consistent since season 4. So you're basically saying her character's been consistent after she became an Alicorn.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. And
that is crazy.
And his TV tropes described here with Aesop amnesia, you would think after all the craziness of the Friendship Journal season 7, Twilight wouldn't freak out over something so small as an extremely overdue library book. But, well, I guess we better just go through the episode.
Yeah.
By the way, this was written by someone named Jillian Barrow. Has she written before?
Yes, she wrote The One Where Pinkie Pie Knows. And she also is the writer of the books, like the old books, the Twilight Sparkle and the Crystal Heart Spell, the Applejack and the Cutie and the Switcheroo thing.
Yeah.
Those books.
I like her.
And I think she also did the 3 Daring Do book box set that came in the treasure chest or whatever. I think she did that too. So she has some good credentials for this show. And it was great to see her on point yet again. Now, it starts off with Derpy delivering this gigantic box, and I'm like, oh my gosh, they're actually using CG for once.
Yeah.
With the box and everything. I'm like, is this Family Guy?
No, they haven't outsourced their animation to Korea yet.
Yeah. So it gets in there, and Derpy talks again. I'm like, yes.
He had a conversation with Twilight Sparkle. Do you not? People who weren't there for at least the first 2 to 2.5, 3 years, they won't understand how cool that was.
Yeah. So
She went from not having a voice for like 6 years to talking, and now she just had a conversation with Twilight Sparkle. I'm just like, yeah, dude. Well, she had a conversation with Rarity, but
yeah, exactly. But I love what Spike says here. It's like, is it the It's like, is it the Uber Ogres and Oubliettes like Ultimate Collection that I've been begging for? And Derpy's like, well, it's addressed to Twilight. He gets us all dejected, and I'm just like, that is like someone who was really big into Toonami back in the day. That's like, I hope this is like my 5 Ultimate Edition statues of Gundam Wing.
Ha! Dude, those things were so sick. I wish I got one. Or alternatively, you could also look at it like someone that was really into Dragon Ball Z, and they're like, "Dude, where's my copy of Shonen Jump?"
Yeah, right.
But yeah, there's that. I specifically liked how Twilight had a Star Swirl the Beard. I think it was an action figure.
Yeah,
and
the G1
she
figure.
said the words, she said the letter and number G1, and then Star Swirl the Beard. I told myself, I literally asked aloud, I was like, are you freaking ribbing me right now? Did you just meta my ass? Okay. All right. Hold on. My pony don't mess. Okay. So they're going through the box. Twilight finds an old library book. And then she's like, oh my God, look at that face. And then she's like, hey, wait a minute. This book looks familiar. So they flash back to the library of Twilight checking out some books. Season 1 Twilight. Now, I thought I wanted to pose a question to you.
Okay.
Maybe this was just the connection of my computer stuff for having issues, but did they purposefully pseudo stilt the animation like how it used to be in season 1 for the flashback with her and Dusty Pages at the library, or was that just my computer?
Well, I know they reused the scene within the library.
Yeah, they straight up reused that scene. Yeah,
but yeah, I think so.
Again, that could totally just be my computer.
I don't know, because my version was on a Facebook video, and every time about 5 minutes in, it would desync the audio for some reason. But I don't know. But yeah, I gotta say, when you were talking about the oh my God, look at that face, I'm just thinking, oh my God, look at that face. You look like a motherfucker. No.
Oh, I thought you were gonna do the Filthy Frank one. Oh my God, look at that face. If you're feeling suicidal, you've come to the right place. I can never do a good Filthy Frank. Apparently, the voice was kind of hard on his throat. Yeah, anyway,
but I gotta say,
yeah.
She goes through and she's talking to Dusty Pages, and she's getting library books checked out, and she's like, be sure to return this one back. There's a long line of ponies that are waiting for this one. And it's like, you want to keep your best library returner picture up on the wall,
best
don't you?
Book borrower.
Yeah, best book borrower. Yes, that was awesome.
So we go up to Twilight's room, and man, I don't know what it is. It's like I know we've been crapping on season 1 a little bit through these retro pony reviews, but man, it's like whenever they directly reference stuff in the show and show footage from older episodes, I get like this giddy feeling of giddiness that only continuity can give me, because there are just so many episodes from those first 2 seasons. You could say some from season 3 on, but from those first 2 seasons, there are just some episodes that have so much prestige, in my opinion, behind them. And the 2 pilots, season 1 and 2 pilots especially. So to see that scene again with all this new context, and plus, it's the journey, seeing where we started to where we are now. It's like, holy crap. But my point is, they showed the part where Twilight's like, get me a book of something of premonitions and prophecies. That was the book, right?
Predictions and prophecies.
Yeah, mine sounds more evil. So,
it reminds me. There was a picture I saw that it was my little girl has been watching My Little Pony and Full Metal Alchemist, and it has her pony figures and she's drawn in chalk a summoning circle, and I literally comment on there. I'm just like, they grow up so fast, and then someone else is just like, careful, that's how you summon a brony.
So, it's the part where she's throwing books away. And one of the books that she threw, which ended up under her bed, was this book. And man, here's my genuine reaction I had when I saw that. I saw the book fly under the bed after watching that flashback. I breathed in, like, I leaned back, my ugly face hair was flowing in the non-existent wind, and I went, oh my God, I loved it. That was great. I love how they keep finding ways to make Twilight feel like a complete jerk for being an antisocial jerk like she was in that first season. I mean, there's a whole episode dedicated to Moon Dancer who she was only mentioned by name twice in the first 2 minutes of that first episode. And then this thing with the library book and Moon Dancer, she pseudo ruined her life. The library ladies, they thought she got fired, and I'm just like, man, I love this so much. I mean, one of the big literary devices that just gets my rocks off is when characters get consequences for their actions, even little things, because that's my whole thing. I'm like, every action, minute or big or good or bad, has consequences, and they have done that for Twilight several times. I thought it was awesome. Now, again, this one isn't as good as Amending Fences because, let's be honest, Moon Dancer was top tier in that episode, but this episode in some ways was just as good. But they showed that scene. I leaned back. I exhaled. If I had a fedora, I would have tipped it, took a picture of myself, sent it to John, but it would have had a caption that said freaking euphoric. And then John would have been like, haha, right? Am I right, my dude? And then we would have got on here, and then you would have been like, hey, Snakeskin, remember when you sent me that picture? And I'd be like, yeah, dude. Couch down. Dude. So the flashback ends.
Okay, wait a second. Did you seriously just make up a parallel universe continuity for us?
Hey, they did it in so my point is so they end the flashback, and Twilight literally she essentially does the meme that used to be that people used to make about her. She literally goes Irma Gerd Burks, but by the way, she shows her library card, and she's making the cutest freaking smile. I'm like, oh my God,
every awkward smile ever. And number two, it's in a wallet. She has a billfold with her.
Yeah, oh my God, I didn't even think about it until right now. She has a wallet. What? Why?
And then I love how Spike's just like, Princess Twilight in a library. Stop the presses.
Come to think about it, you know what? You never really see any other ponies carrying their bits, do you? I mean, you always just kind of see them cut to the table, and then they drop the bits on the table.
The only time I can think of is in Sleepless in Ponyville, where you see Rainbow Dash fly by with her tossing her bits around. But that's about it.
Do ponies have pockets?
I don't know. What the heck?
Wait a minute. Twilight just teleported in her wallet. Does that mean unicorns could just dead ass leave their wallet at home, and then when they need it, they're just like poof?
Hashtag unicorns master race.
Actually, I have another question about libraries. Isn't there a thing where libraries will waive the fees of late books no matter how late they are, as long as you just bring the freaking book back?
I think I've seen something like that. But we are going way too deep into this kind of episode.
And another thing, is it true that Lord Faust did 9/11?
Is it true that Faust made a Faustian bargain to make this Faust show something that Satan could use?
Hashtag MLP was an inside job. So anyway, they go to the library. They talk to the librarian, which is not Dusty Pages. This is somebody else. Mm-hmm. Calm down. It's not Dusty Pages, Twilight. And then she's like, "Oi, mate, where's Dusty Pages? I'm looking for her." And she's like, "Who's that?" And she's like, "Well, I got me a bookend." And then the librarian's like, "Oh, cool, yeah, give it over." And she's like, "Oh my God, you are so late."
And I gotta say,
I know. Here we go.
Okay. I literally wrote down word for word in my notes here. You have to go to first folio in the grossly overdue book return office for ponies who should know better.
Gorgoroth. I don't know.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. And I didn't say this because I wanted to say it during the live stream so I'd get your reaction. I literally heard that, and I thought I paused. I went, fuck, now John's going to want to repeat that whole thing.
Right.
And, well, I was right. I owe myself $5. Actually, I still owe myself $5 last time from myself. I owe $5. Actually, there's a bounty for myself on my head.
What, are you going to have Django Fett come for you now?
There's a John Cena joke in here somewhere.
Yeah,
anyway,
right. Did you hear he's in Fast and Furious 9 now?
Oh, baby. It's time.
Yeah. It's time. I told that to my wife, and she got into Fast and Furious, but she's a huge John Cena fan. So when she heard that he was going to be in Furious 9, she's like, We're going opening night. I don't care. I am dragging you to that.
It's gonna be all about Hobbs and Shaw, dude. When me and my buddy James went to see Captain Meh in theaters, we there was a commercial for Hobbs and Shaw, and the whole time we're laughing our asses off. And I told James, I said, dude, he's like, I'm like, sir, we're gonna be there first day. He said, oh, dude. Yeah, and then we were just joking because he's like, man, this was literally just a Point Break ripoff. Then it became this. I said, dude, as far as I'm concerned, the Fast and Furious movies are just superhero movies. There's no superpowers. The superpowers are the cars.
Yeah,
and Dwayne Johnson's glorious pecs. But anyway, yeah, no, it's going to be all about The Rock and Roman Reigns and a bunch of Samoans beating up government officials in Hobbs and Shaw. With Jason Statham. Okay, so anyway, my point was that she has to go down to the Geobrech. So she goes down there, and it basically says out to lunch.
Yeah, and it's all dank and decrepit down there. So
there's cobwebs, spiders.
And so
it looks like the Queen's dungeon from Snow White.
We got to find someone that looks like a librarian. So they go to all these different places and they end up at the Tasty Treat. And I'm just like, good callback.
Yeah.
Still with the best song of season 6. But they go in there and Moondancer's there with First Folio.
I was like, hi, wife.
Yeah, and they're like, and it's like, hi, Twilight, what are you doing here? Just visiting. Folio, can I talk to you? It's like, what? Where'd Dusty Pages go? And it's like,
she's dead.
Yeah, she no longer works at the Yeah, she no longer works at the library. Like, she hasn't been there in years, and she's like, do you know why that is? Not really. Just heard some shit went down, and she left. And so now that gets the idea in Twilight's head that shit, her overdue library book is what caused Dusty Pages to get fired.
And then it cuts to commercial, and my first thought was, oh my God, how many lives will this tyrant ruin?
Right?
So they go to Dusty's house,
and it's no longer her house. It's owned by this buff pony that hates solicitation.
I'm assuming that was a Tom Brady pony. Had the haircut.
Yeah, that makes sense.
No, I'm not. No, Gronkowski. Ponkowski.
Yeah. So he's like, yeah, he's like, you know what? She hasn't lived here in years. You got to go find her and bring this mail. And he brings this giant mail bag full of mail that's been sent over. It's like, tell her to change her fucking address.
Hey, you know what hasn't been living anywhere in a long time? The Green Bay Packers.
You know what also hasn't been living for a very long time? The Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
That's right. I'm not a Buccaneers fan, right?
Yeah, I know.
Oh, okay. Well, no, don't get me wrong. It's always good. There's always a good time to take a pot shot at the Bucs.
Yeah.
More like
and so what was that about the Raiders again?
Hey, we got a lot of questionable draft picks.
Everyone got a lot of questionable draft picks this year.
Oh, dude, freaking Clemson and Alabama are making a killing in sports these last couple years.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, back to ponies.
Yeah, so what happens next is Twilight, they go all around to these various places because he's like, yeah, she went to Silver Shores Surfer place. And I said, did you just make a bloody Silver Surfer reference to me in 2019?
That movie was shit.
Silver Surfer is non-existent. Do you understand me? I have no idea what he's doing right now in comics. I think he's dead again. I don't know. Anyway, so what happens next is...
with the Marvel continuity, you never fucking know.
Oh, Jesus. So they
the only continuity that's been good has been the MCU.
If we're talking Marvel, yeah. Well, actually, you know what? The Ultimate Universe was cool, but then Joe Quesada killed it.
Yeah.
Anyway, so they go to this retirement home.
Yeah, and it is like the best retirement community I've ever seen.
Man, I thought Armenians had good retirement homes, but this place, holy crap!
Literally, they have painting, music therapy, which is normal.
Yeah.
But then they got parasailing and a squishy fruit food fight tournament in a paintball-like arena.
Yeah, my dad walked in when they were at this part, and he was like, where are they? I'm like, they're at a retirement home. He's like, what? I'm like, yeah. He said, man, our retirement homes suck.
Yeah, right.
So they eventually find her. She's in a band, and her band plays music like, if anyone's ever been to Disneyland and been on Main Street, USA for like 30 minutes, you know exactly the type of music they were making. She's shredding on with an electric guitar solo on an acoustic guitar. That made me ree a little bit, but then Twilight's like, yo, what's up, dog? And she's like,
the only thing worse than my wife with the only thing worse than my guitar autism is my waifu faggotry.
I love that, man. So she's like, dude, what's up? And she's like, Dusty, what's up? I think I got you fired. Whoops,
it's like, I fucking left that place. I fucking left that shithole, even though everyone else says it's not a shithole, but I'm gonna call it a shithole anyway.
Yeah, everybody loves it, and they loved her. Whatever. And okay, so what? Eventually, she's like, "I ain't going back." They leave. They try to find her in a couple places,
and that's where they get to the squishy fruit tournament.
Yeah, they show up at Fruit Ball or paintball, whatever, and she's like, "Okay, come sit next to me on the log, like we're Winnie the Pooh or some crap." And
I was thinking the same thing.
She's like, "Christopher Robin, sit upon my knee." I don't know.
By the way, Katie and I did go and finally watch Christopher Robin, and holy crap.
Does it not punch you in the feels straight for 2.5 hours?
All I really remember was like, when Eeyore's going down the little river, and he's just God. Well, I guess this is the end for me. I'm just like, I did not remember Eeyore being borderline suicidal.
Well, he was always depressed.
Yeah, I knew he was depressed, but I didn't remember he was like suicidal depressed.
Yeah, no, that movie was good. Man, that first half though is intense because Christopher Robin's an adult. He hates life. He's so mean to Pooh. All Pooh wanted was a damn balloon.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, so what happens next is they talk, and she's like, "Look, I spent my whole life searching for perfection." Even though they didn't really allude to that being a part of her character until right now, but whatever. She's like, I tried to be perfect my whole life, but then when you didn't return the book, life was not perfect, and then I found out imperfect is perfect. It's a lesson.
I love how she says it gave me a thrill that I've never felt before.
The thrill is gone. Yeah, and I was just like, wait a minute. This chick has to be at least 60s. You're telling me she never knew failure once? How many times have we seen Twilight fail? And apparently these 9 seasons are like, what, 3 years?
Something like that.
Yeah. So anyway, so she's like...
And the book itself was about perfectionism too.
Yeah, it was a self-help book. So that's the funny part because it gets a stain on it, and it's just like imperfect. It's like this. I swear to God, I think it's the name of a real self-help book that I've seen sold in my store. It was like Perfection and the Impossible Pursuit or something. I'm like, what? Did Jen Cisneros write this? And
that's also when you remember back in Look Before You Sleep that they made a reference to Woody Allen with Slumber 101, everything you wanted to know about slumber parties, but were afraid to ask.
I didn't see a 50-year-old Colt marry a 19-year-old filly or a mare.
Yeah, right.
So eventually, Twilight's like, you know what? You're right. Perfect isn't perfect. You know, that's a message that's been going around.
Whack, yo. Speaking of, did you ever read a book called Be a Perfect Person Within the Next 3 Days?
No, I don't think I've heard of that.
It was where this kid keeps messing up and he wants to be perfect, so he goes in and it's kind of like a Willy Wonka sort of character, and he finds a book, and the book is like, don't go to the end of this book, and then he flips to the end of the book and the book's like, you did it, didn't you? This will be your last chance. Go to the beginning, sort of thing. And it eventually ends up to where all he is sitting in a chair, sipping weak tea, and him saying, perfect is boring.
Yeah, that's a lesson that's been hammered in kids stuff for like years, since like long before we were born, you know. But it's changed a bit. It used to be perfect is boring, just be yourself. Then it used to be, perfect is like everyone else. And if you're like everyone else, you won't be yourself. Then for a little bit, it was like, perfect is a construct of human perception, and it is evil and is conforming to the hive mind put forth by the utilitarian governments imposing their will upon the world to control us. And now it's kind of become, look, perfect's all in your head. Imperfect is the way of life because that's what everyone is. Nobody's perfect. And if everyone was perfect, then Look, basically,
nobody's perfect. We're all going to die.
Yeah, basically. TV. Yeah, essentially, I think the don't try to be perfect Aesop I think it's hit its peak with how many ways they could tell it to kids at this point. But it was good. So they go back to the library. And throughout this whole episode, by the way, Twilight was trying to calculate how many bits she owes, and it was getting to like the couple thousands. Mm-hmm. And then they give the book back, and she's like, okay, how much do I owe? And then the lady's like, 28 bits. She's like, what? She's like, oh, yeah. We cap out the fee after a month, but nobody knows that because we don't tell them. Isn't that illegal?
I have no idea.
And whatever, she pays the bits, but she keeps the book anyway as a reminder.
Yeah, and then because they already had a newer edition.
Yeah, so the book about perfection being impossible is in itself even more imperfect because it got outdone by a quote-unquote more perfect version.
My question then is, it was a, how can I put this? It was outdone by a newer version. Does that mean it was sort of like a revisionist history sort of thing?
Mom. So that was the episode. I was really high on this episode. I liked it. I'm gonna give this one an 8.75. I thought this was a really fun episode. Spike and Twilight were written very well, very consistent. That's my key here. They were great. Good to see Moondancer. I liked the various librarian characters. No, this was good. This was good. My only real critiques are I felt Dusty was sort of flat, and this feels like a lesson we've learned before, specifically that Twilight has learned before, but it was still good.
Mm-hmm. I give this an 8.5, mainly because just like with the Amending Fences, it kind of threw you curveballs, but it was more of like, instead of emotional curveballs, it was just like, let's see how crazy and wacky we can get with this episode. So it was fun.
Because as soon as what point was it? Oh, as soon as Twilight knocked on the door, and there was no answer they went looking for. That was around, or it was either that or right after Dusty walked out on her and Spike. Around that point, I really honestly could tell where the episode was going, but it was taking a couple extra steps to get there that it wouldn't normally take. I took that more as that was them trying to deliberately lengthen the plot and throw you, like you said, throw more storytelling devices at you for the sake of being spicy. But realistically, I think it took more than it gave. So it, but yeah, no, I thought it was, other than that, I thought it was good.
Yeah. So next week, let's see what we got for next week.
I have that pulled up and then it went away. Let me find it.
Then while you're finding it, the fucking Sonic the Hedgehog movie. Oh my gosh. Good
God Almighty.
Jim Carrey actually works as Dr. Eggman #1.
That's the only
thing that works. And then you look at, like, someone's already photoshopped to make it look like actual modern Sonic, and it's like, there, fixed it. I wish that's what it was.
So, okay, you know what? Here's my biggest problem. Why were they using Gangster's Paradise?
I know.
I like that song, but it doesn't. That song fits Knuckles more than Sonic, and I mean like Sega Genesis. Sorry, no. Sega Dreamcast Knuckles. Sonic Adventure 1 and 2 when he was actually cool still. Yeah. It fits that Knuckles. It does not fit Sonic, and it was through the whole trailer.
I know.
The voice was wacky. He sounded like a freaking goober. It literally feels like Detective Pikachu, which is weird because there's no way they could have either of them could have ripped them off because they had to have been developed. Sure, it's similar times, but unless they had the same script writer,
Now,
I'm going to see this movie, and then I'm going to roast it to holy hell on my podcast.
The Sonic the Hedgehog movie is the budget version of Detective Pikachu #1, and #2. Detective Pikachu and Sonic the Hedgehog are doing the first Smash Brothers cinematic universe. That's what I've been hearing online.
Jesus Christ. What the fuck if? We have the Conjuring universe. We have a new Godzilla universe. We have the DC universe, the MCU. Hell, if Spawn does well, maybe they'll kick off an Image Comics universe. And now, oh my god! And they're trying to make a Super Mario movie.
Yeah, with fucking Illumination, the Minions people.
Animation-wise, it'll look good.
Mm-hmm.
But
anyway, what was
Did
you find the next episode?
Shut up! I'm not done cringing. All right. Do you remember Quibble Pants?
Yeah. Patton Oswalt.
Rainbow Dash's old pal Quibble Pants needs help to bond with the daughter of his new special friend. Wait. With the daughter of his new special friend? Oh my God.
He's dating a girl who has a kid.
Oh my God, Quibble Pants is a Mexican. He's literally two of my brothers and my uncle. Yeah, and look,
funny.
Rainbow Dash's old pal Quibble Pants needs help to bond with the daughter of his new special friend because, like Dash, she's a real sports pony. Patton Oswalt as Quibble Pants, Meredith Salinger as Clear Sky, I guess that's her name, and Alice
Clear Skies. That was one of the characters from Thanks for the Memories.
Is it?
Yeah, because they did that. Who's on First gag?
Well, I guess Clear Skies.
Clear Skies over there.
Her kid is named Wind Sprint. Clearly, she got her dad's name.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway,
that was funny as hell.
Oh my God, that's right. I completely forgot. So Quibble Pants is Patton Oswalt. The woman playing Clear Sky is his wife, and the person playing the daughter is his daughter. Check this out, check this out, actor illusion on TV tropes. In the episode, Quibble Pants is interested in a relationship with another mayor, blah, blah, blah. In real life, Oswalt had his daughter, Alice, with his first wife, Michelle, who passed away after their 11 years after their marriage. And then he got with this voice actor, Meredith Salinger. And so the similar relationship led the show to intentionally seek out to seek out Oswalt's Patton Oswalt's wife and daughter to do the characters.
Okay, that is cool.
God, you're kidding me. You're telling me.
Cool.
You know what? I already like this episode. I already like next week's episode. Anyway, so thanks for joining us. We're the Undercover Brony. So, like, subscribe, share, and buy the t-shirts.
Whenever we come out with them. It won't be like Game Theory where they sell out within 2 minutes.
I would say let's have a shirt where it says symbolism, but then we get sued by Film Brain.
Right. So that's it from me, John.
And me, Snakeskin.
And we will talk to you guys later. Peace out, Dragon.
Adios.